This is Michael Orrell of MobileBurn.com with the BlackBerry Curve 8900 from Research in Motion. And we're going to start off by looking at some of the applications, and the first of which is going to be the media application. You can navigate through your music any number of ways. It's automatically organized by artist, album, genre, playlists, anything like that. Go pick an artist, pick an album, and then choose a song. Now you can, of course, go on and do other things in the phone while the music's playing, and go back to it when you like. Use the trackball to move across the buttons on the bottom, or you can also move up a little bit and then use it to move through the song. Next up, we'll bring up the camera. Now, the easiest way to activate the camera is by holding in the shutter button here. But considering that the camera doesn't actually auto-rotate photos when you're taking it in this form factor, it really is kind of silly to have a true dual-stage auto-focusing shutter button up here. It's really not useful. Nobody's going to use it on the side like this. So what happens is you have your subject here. You click on the trackball, it'll focus, and then take the picture. Camera's pretty good. White balance is pretty good in general. Takes nice photos. They all look very nice on a personal computer on a large monitor, so pretty impressed in general. Focusing is a little slow at times, and again, this whole thing with the button being over here and not taking landscape-oriented photos, or or when you're holding the phone in landscape orientation at least, seems kind of odd to me. But in general, the photos come out quite nice, and it also records good quality video. Right now I have the browser pulled up to the MSNBC website. You can see this is a mobile formatted site. It's not the same one you would see on your PC. Navigation is pretty smooth. You can see I use the trackball to move around, and I can actually click on things to zoom in. On top of that, there's a number of really nice keyboard shortcuts for doing that. You can use I to zoom in and O to zoom out. A lot of other things like that too. You can U for full screen, turning it on and off. R will hit refresh. I can hit F to pull up the search. Let's type headline, something we know it's going to find. And there you can see headlines now highlighted. There's also go to for jumping directly to a URL. Spacebar acts as a page, so you can easily move down without scrolling up and down on the trackball all the time. A lot of good things like that hidden in there. There are more actually too. So it's something you really want to play with when you get a BlackBerry device. Let's pull up a different site that's not formatted for mobiles. You can see again, this is the mobile format. We're going to hit the link down at the bottom here to go to the full HTML site though. Now right now we're on a Wi-Fi connection, but it still goes through BlackBerry's server, so it's not as fast as what we've seen on a lot of other smartphones with Wi-Fi connections. Doesn't seem too bad at the moment, but during the last week and a half we've been playing with this device, there have been days where internet surfing is really, really slow, and days when it's been okay. So you can see the site coming up now, and there it is. This is a pretty accurate rendering. Some pages on the site it has some problems with the browser, but in general it does a pretty good job. Just click in somewhere to zoom, and we can scroll up and down and read it pretty easily. So it's pretty nice in general. It'll work on the vast majority of websites. It's just not always the quickest thing. If you look up here at the LED, you can see this red flash. That's indicating that we have a new message, as does the indicator in the little messaging box right here. So if I click on this, this is going to bring up the combined email, SMS, all pin messaging client. but you can also pull up individual mailboxes if you so choose. We'll pull up a message here so you can see what it looks like. This is one of the inboxes we have defined on the device. You can define multiple ones. We'll pull this up, and you can see that it does an okay job of showing HTML type email. You know, images come through and stuff like that. It's not all properly formatted. It's just not wide enough, I suppose. You can use the space bar, just like you can on the web pages, to page through the email message and back out when you're done. Full set of options for what you can do with it. You can mark it as unopened again. You can save it for make sure it won't get deleted, forward, delete it, whatever you want. Another cool option is the search functionality. You can see that work here. We'll pick a message. You can see we have two messages from that same company, US Airways there, but if we do search on sender, it'll search through everything we have for messages from that company, or that person, or sender, and whatever sender it happened to be. Another cool feature on the 8900 is the BlackBerry Maps. This device has a built-in GPS unit, and then it also comes with BlackBerry's own mapping system. BlackBerry's maps are a little bit slow to render, not helped by the fact that the data speeds don't always seem to be too quick on this device. You can pan around, and you can click to change zoom levels, zoom out a couple of clicks. You can see it takes a while to re-render. So while it's handy to some extent, nobody's going to be using this if it takes this long to zoom in, zoom out, and just pan around and look. So except for some slower data speeds than we've come to expect on a Wi-Fi connection, and a couple of small design errors like the back panel and stuff, we've been pretty pleased with the device. The UMA service has been as good as the 8320 we've been using for a long time. It still drops the occasional call. We're never sure if that's T-Mobile's network, the Wi-Fi router, or the phones. But occasionally it drops, which is a little bit annoying. But still, compared to the reception you would get in this area from T-Mobile in general, without the Wi-Fi, it's still a vast improvement. The device is good looking, has a lot of features in it, and does basically everything the 8320 did before it, better. So that's RIM's BlackBerry 8900 Curve for T-Mobile USA. I'm Michael Orrell from MobileBurn.com.